Willy was a wiry fellow with an eye for the absurd and an even keener eye for other people's pockets. Born in the bustling market town of Noverton, he quickly learned that fortune favored not just the bold, but the crafty. Willy's life was a patchwork of narrow escapes and daring exploits, leaving lands awash with tales that fluctuated between half-truths and pure fabrications. It all began one fateful morning when young Willy, barely 10 and already burdened with a penchant for mischief, stumbled upon a traveling magician named Marvolio. The magician, a seasoned con man himself, recognized a kindred spirit in Willy and took him under his wing, teaching him the subtle arts of sleight of hand and the less subtle arts of charming the coins from unsuspecting market-goers. As years slipped by, Willy's reputation grew, as did the length of his rap sheet. Each escape from the local constabulary was a feather in his cap, each successful heist a story added to his legend. His favorite tricks included swapping the contents of a noble's purse with mere pebbles or convincing a jewel merchant that a piece of glass was, in fact, a gem of extraordinary value. One particular tale involved Willy sneaking into the grand ball of Duke Mirenberg. Wearing a stolen mask and a suit borrowed from a scarecrow, Willy mingled with guests, his eyes gleaming behind the mask. His target that evening was a diamond brooch, rumored to be cursed. The superstitions only made it more enticing to Willy, who saw curses as fanciful deterrents for the unimaginative. With the grace of a cat and the guile of a fox, Willy approached the Duchess of Windfeld, holder of the said brooch. Through a flurry of flattering words and a distracting tale of fictitious lands, he unclasped the brooch, replacing it with a replica made of cleverly painted metal. The switch was seamless, and Willy exited the ball with his prize, leaving the Duchess none the wiser. His exploits weren't without moral, however. Willy had a rule, only from those who could afford it, and only enough so they would notice, but not suffer. This rule carried him through dozens of schemes, always dancing on the edge of outright villainy. One day, while peddling fake elixirs in a village square, Willy spotted a young woman with tired eyes and a limp. Her name was Eliza, and she was the widow of a fisherman, struggling to feed her 3 young children. Moved by her plight, Willy concocted a plan not for personal gain, but for charity. That evening, under the veil of twilight, Willy crept into the mansion of Baron Hemsley, a notorious miser. He borrowed the Baron's famed gold-encrusted candlesticks. The next day, Eliza found an anonymous gift on her doorstep, enough to solve her troubles and then some. As years turned, Willy's face grew lines, and his knees protested the frequent flights from the law. He began to think of legacy, of endings. He returned to Noverton, where Marvolio, now aged and retired, still performed tricks for children. Together, they opened a small theater, teaching young pickpockets to turn their nimble fingers towards more lawful arts. The tales of Sly Willy, now mingled with laughter and applause, continued to drift through taverns and over cobblestone streets. In his twilight years, Willy found that the greatest trick the world ever pulled was convincing him that a life of adventure could lead to a quiet, joyful old age, filled with the echoes of applause and the warmth of a community that, in some ways, he helped to forge. And so, the legend of Sly Willy continued. A man who stole from the rich, gave to the poor, and finally, found something he never thought to steal, a peaceful, contented heart.